Good morning, hello and welcome to Szeged, Hungary for the 2026 Paddle Europe Junior Under 23 European Championships here in sprint canoeing. My name is Rebby Simon, a former Team GB canoeist and Rio 2016 Olympian, and I'll be your commentator today for the exciting races coming up on course. We have 32 A finals today on course here in Szeged on this lovely Sunday. And we also have a few B finals this morning and also a few this afternoon as well. We'll start with the K1 under 23 men 500 meter B final. Start time for that race is in about 2 minutes at 9 o'clock. And in lane 1, we have Great Britain, Himes. In lane 2, Italy, Spadaccini. In lane 3, Slovenia, Kups. In lane 4, France, Martin. In lane 5, Poland, Yastrabs. In lane 6, Latvia, Michuda. In lane 7, Lithuania, Tarvidas. In lane 8, Portugal, Kerdeira. And in lane 9, Switzerland, Diethelm. This is the 500 meter B final in the under 23 men K1 category. We'll also have an A final in this race, not long after, 20 minutes after this B final. And you can see the athletes already lining up for the first start of this day. The weather is looking beautiful and sunny with a slight headwind today, which is a change from the tailwind that we've had the last 3 days for this competition. At the moment, it's not too strong, so it won't affect the racing too much. And most importantly, the wind is straight, so that means fair conditions for all athletes in all 9 lanes. So we see the B finalists of this event lining up, getting ready to go into the buckets now. And once they're in, they'll be under starters orders. All athletes go into the buckets now, and they'll be under starters orders. And they're off all away. Clearly no false starts in this race. We saw lane 4, the French athlete, starting the quickest from this field, but now lane 6, the Latvian, has taken the lead over the rest of the field by about half a boat length. You can see him lengthening his strokes now from reaching his max speed. And lane 2 and lane 4 from Italy and France are now catching up and taking over the lead. Some of these middle lanes would have just missed out on qualifying for the A final from the semi-finals and the heats. So they'll have something to prove in this B final, but it's anyone's race coming through the halfway point now. We have lane 2 in the lead from Italy, and lane 4 from France is in close second behind. Portuguese in lane 8 is also keeping up with them, going into the last 200 meters of the race now. This is where their sprint finishes, going into the final meters of this race. They have to be a bit more tactical going into the headwind here. The race is a bit longer. It will be about 8 to 10 seconds longer in these conditions, going into the last 50 meters of the race now. We still have Italy in the lead, followed by France. You can now see the British athlete also in lane 1, pulling up to be in the top 3 of this race. Spadaccini holds on for the win. Martin takes second, and the British athlete takes third. Great race by the Italian in that B final, taking the win. It looks like he's very happy with that race, as he should be. Perfectly timed, held on to the lead in the last few meters of that race as well, which I'm sure was a long and painful one in this headwind. can see the slow motion of the races now. In a few minutes' time, we have the next race lining up of the junior men, at this time in K1 500 meter of their B final. We'll wait for the confirmation of the results from the first B final of the day. We've got 3 more B finals this morning before we move on to the first A final at 9:20. The junior men, junior women and under 23 women go in the B final first before we move over to the under 23 men in the A final. While we wait for the results, you can see the athletes for the junior men 500 meter K1 B final lining up already in lane 1, Austria, Konprops, in lane 2, Finland, Rosenstorm, in lane 3, Cyprus, Kiraitu, in lane 4, Slovakia, Kotur, in lane 5, Poland, Bargiel, in lane 6, Georgia, Kapinos, in lane 7, Denmark, Jensen, in lane 8, Spain, Gonzalez, and in lane 9, Croatia, Potoki. See the athletes in the start buckets now, and off they go. Lane 4, the Slovakian caught the start the best out of this field. And we'll see where they are going into the first 100 meters of this event. Still got lane 4, the Slovakian Kotor in the lead, along with the Croatian down in lane 9. Going into the first 200 meters of this race now, they'll be settling into a nice rhythm. It's important that they change their strokes a little bit going into the headwind compared to a tailwind. The time between the strokes has to be shortened a little bit, just slightly, so that the wind doesn't push them back. They don't give the wind enough chance to push the boats back while they're up in the air. Going through the halfway point, you have the Slovakian in the lead, followed by the Danish and the Georgian athlete. Close behind them is the Croatian in lane 9. Going into the last 200 meters of this race now. Kotur from Slovakia is extending his lead by about half a boat length now. And we see the Danish Jensen falling back slightly, being caught up by Gonzalez from Spain. And the Georgian athlete next to him, Kapinos, in lane 6. But no doubt about the leader at the moment. He's extending his lead to about boat length and a half now, going into the last 50 meters of the race. Looks like Gonzalez from Spain has come up to second position. So it looks like Slovakia Kotor will take the win. Gonzalez takes second. And the athlete from Cyprus, Kyriatou, takes third. So there's your winner of this B final on screen, Tomas Kotor from Slovakia. Once again, a slightly longer race than what they would have been used to from the last few days of racing here in Szeged. They've had tailwind the last 3 days, and now they have a headwind on this last day of finals. There's your winner from Slovakia, celebrating his win. A very well built up final from him. Very well planned race. Timed it to perfection to pull away in the second half of that, which you see often in the 500-meter racing. We'll now move on to the women with the K1 Junior Women 500-meter B final. In lane 1, we have Estonia, Letzi. In lane 2, Portugal, Pereira. In lane 3, Israel, Kleinman. In lane 4, Spain, Trinidad. In lane 5, Ukraine, Fezun. In lane 6, Denmark, Andersen. In lane 7, Austria, Aitinger. In lane 8, Great Britain, Bates. And in lane 9, Bulgaria, Savova. You can see the athletes lining up, getting ready to go into the buckets now. They're in the starting area, in their own lanes now. They have to be within the starting area 5 minutes before the race, and in their own lanes 3 minutes prior to the official start time. Your middle lanes would have been 4th in their semi-finals, just missing out on qualifying for the A final, so there'll be ones to watch in this B final. But again, it'll be a different race going into the headwind. This will suit some people more than others. Under starters orders now. And they're away. Looks like lane 7, the Austrian Aitinger, caught the start the quickest out of this field. And it looks like Savova from Bulgaria in lane 9 is also away quick. There are your top 2 at the moment going into the first 100 meters of this race. It's important that these girls pace this 500-meter well. It's going to be a longer race from what they're used to from these last few days here in Szeged. It's going to be about 10 seconds longer. Lane 7, the Austrian Aitinger got about a boat length lead over the rest of the field here, going into the first 250 meters of this race. We'll see official standings going through this checkpoint now.
4 minutes to the start. 4 minutes.
Latvia in the lead. Sorry, Austria in the lead, followed by Estonia. And Israel in 3rd at the moment. But a lot can change in this last 200 meters of this race. Looks like the Estonian Letzi in lane 1 is catching up to Aitinger from Austria. Going into the last 100 meters of the race, the fight is on for the win in this B final between the Austrian and the Estonian athlete in lane 1 and 7. Going into the last 100 meters now. This is where they have to really dig deep. Try and use those last bits of energy they have left in this 500 meters. You see Letzi now from Estonia in the lead, slightly ahead of Aitinger. Getting into the last 20 meters of the race. So Kelly Letzi takes the win. Aitinger takes 2nd, and Fezun from Ukraine gets 3rd in this B final. Congratulations to these girls. You can see different race plans going into that final. different race plans of the top two athletes as well, both working well clearly. And this time Letzi took the win over Aitinger up from lane 1. We have one more B final before we move on to the A finals this morning. There you see the finish line. Letzi ended up winning by about half a boat length over Aitinger. So under 23 women's K1 500 meter B final coming up next. Now we can see the result of that junior women's K1 500 meter B final. Estonia wins, Austria in second, Ukraine in third. So we have about a minute until the next start of the under 23 women's K1 500 meter B final in lane 1. Bederniak from Slovenia, lane 2. Kamane from Latvia, lane 3. Stanojev from Serbia, lane 4. Svekova from Slovakia in lane 5. Green from Great Britain, lane 6. Moreira from Spain, lane 7. Hoglund from Sweden, lane 8. Yildiz from Turkey, and lane 9. Ahmed from Switzerland. See the athletes coming into the buckets now. And they'll be under starters orders. And they're away. Looks like Amy Green from Great Britain caught the start, the best out of the field. No surprises there. She was a silver medalist in the 200 meters recently from Canada. She just missed out on the A final from the semi-finals earlier this week. So she'll have something to prove here in this B final of the 500. We'll see her back in the 200 meter A final as well later. So she's in the lead at the moment. That's Amy Green from Great Britain, followed closely by Kamana and Stanojev from Latvia and Serbia. They are your top 3 going into the first 200 meters of this race. And then we'll see official standings going through the halfway mark. So going through the first 250, Great Britain in the lead, followed by Serbia and Spain. Slovakia not far behind either in 4th. Coming up to the last 200 meters of this race now. And the Serbian Stanojev has taken over the lead, slightly ahead of Green from Great Britain. There's your leader at the moment going into the last 100 meters of this race. So Stanojev in the lead, extending her lead as well, ahead of Svekova from Slovakia and Green from Great Britain. But you can also see Moreira from Spain coming up on them to try and get one of those top 3 spots in this final. So it looks like Stanojev from Serbia will take the win ahead of Svekova from Slovakia, and Green takes 3rd. Moreira from Spain in close 4th behind. There's your winner of this B final of the under-23 women's K1 500 meters. And we've got the first A final coming up in about 3 minutes time. We have the reigning European champion starting here, Kolek from Hungary. He won this race last year. He'll be in lane 5 to try and defend his title. He was also the 1,000-meter world champion recently in Canada. He's now switched over to the shorter distance of the 500-meter to race here in Szeged. We also have a medalist from Canada in the mixed 5,000 meters from Denmark, Jorgensen. He'll be in this final as well in lane 3. And in lane 7, we have the AANA athlete Avdev, who was a finalist in the 1,000 meters earlier this week. So there we see the athletes lining up already in lane 1, Hrabek from Czechia, in lane 2, Kluge from Germany, in lane 3, Jorgensen from Denmark, in lane 4, Usta from Turkey, in lane 5, the home favorite Kolek from Hungary, in lane 6, Klimovic from AIMB, in lane 7, Avdev from AINA, in lane 8, Stojcic from Serbia, and in lane 9, Ayegue from Spain. Watch out for the middle lanes here again. No doubt the Hungarian will try and defend his title, especially racing at home. Tactics will be very important in this race. A longer race than what they're used to. So pacing is essential in this 500 meters. Into the buckets they go now. It's the first A final of this day. And they're away. It looks like it's a false start. Not sure who it's going to be. We'll see who gets a warning here for that false start. Potentially lane 7. But we'll have to wait. Lane 3. Jorgensen gets the warning for a false start. If you get 2 warnings, that means a disqualification from the race. So after 1 warning, you have to be a bit more careful going into the second start here. You don't want to risk getting a disqualification. You can afford to do that. Be a bit more careful in a 500-meter race, especially when it's a longer race in a headwind. You can see the flags down next to the start buckets getting blown straight down. You can see the athletes circling round, getting ready to go into the buckets once again. They take these moments to reset their minds, take some deep breaths, to try and get back into the zone, forget about the false start, especially for the Danish athlete. They see the athletes coming up to the start buckets now. They'll be under starters orders in just a few moments. So take 2 of this start of the K1 under 23 men 500 meter A final. Into the buckets they go under starters orders. This time away, clearly lane 7 and lane 5. The AANA and the Hungarian caught the start the best this time, and we'll see standings now going to the first 100 meters. We have the German in the lead, slightly ahead of the AANA athlete, and the Spanish athlete down in lane 9 now. The Hungarian is also coming up to be in the top 3 at the moment, going into the first 150 meters of this race. The Czech athlete up in lane 1, Hrabek, is also keeping up with them at the moment. The German leads by about half a boat length going into the first 200 meters of this final, with Hungary in second. We'll see the standings in the first half of this race. The official standings going through the 250-meter checkpoint. Germany in the lead, followed by Hungary, Spain, and Czech Republic. AAMB closely following behind, going into the last 200 meters of this race. Kollek from Hungary is going to try and defend his title in this event, catching up to the German athlete now. So we've got Kluge still in the lead, just ahead of Kollek, which has changed now. We have the Hungarian in the lead now, going into the last 100 meters of this race now, into the red boys. He's extending his lead from the German, and you can see the AANA athlete in lane 7 also challenging for that podium for the win. About 30 meters to go now, and Hungary, Kollek still in the lead. An AANA athlete coming up to second. So Kollek defends his title, wins this race. AANA athlete Avdev comes in second, and Kluge from Germany comes in third. They're your top 3, they're your medalists. There's your winner, there's your European champion defending his title in this event. Perfectly timed race, held back a bit until the last 200 meters. That's when he upped his speed, up the pace, up the stroke rate, took over the lead, and then just kept extending his lead over the rest of the field. Great race by the rest of the guys as well. Once again, you can see different tactics in this final from the German, the Hungarian, the AANA athletes as well. And there you see the last few meters. Clear win, clear second, and clear third. So after winning gold in the 1,000 at the World Championships, now takes gold in the 500 here at the European Championships. Already you can see the next race, the junior men, K1 500 now lining up. Lane 1, Candela. Lane 2, Askal Atel from Hungary. In lane 3, Zerebilo from Germany. Lane 4, Hatton from Great Britain. Lane 5, Nekrasov from ANA. Lane 6, Karahan from Turkey. He's the world champion in this event. In lane 7, Le Petit from France. Lane 8, Batli from Ireland. And lane 9, Orlov from Estonia. And they're off already. We have the 500 and the 1,000 meter world champion in this event in lane 6 and in lane 8. So it looks like lane 3, the German, once again takes it out the quickest from this field, followed by the current world champion in this event, Karahan from Turkey. And next name, Nekrasov, is in close third. I think Karahan is in the lead now, going through the halfway point. We see the official standings. Karahan in the lead, followed by Germany, ANA, and the Irish athlete. This headwind is going to suit Batali in lane 8. We know he's a great athlete over 1,000 meters. So a longer race suits him better. So he'll be happy it's a headwind. But Karahan still in the lead. Nekrasov next to him in second, and in third at the moment is the German athlete, Zerebilo. Looks like lane 5, Nekrasov is taking over the lead from Karahan from Turkey. And it looks like Lane 3 will take the silver from Karahan, taken over. Going into second place, looks like Nekrasov, Zerabilo and Karahan are your top three, with the Italian coming in fourth and the Irish in fifth. So there's a European champion. Nekrasov takes his second gold of this weekend. He won the 1,000 as well, and Karahan takes third, and the bronze medal with Zerabilo in second. You can see the slow motion now. So there's your winner. And we can already see the next race lining up on course. So be the C1 Junior Women 500-meter final. Lane 1, we have Lemke from Germany. Lane 2, Souza from Portugal. In lane 3, Wozniuk from Ukraine. In lane 4, Sobal from AAMB. In lane 5, Romaniuk from AANA. In lane 6, Hamar from Hungary. In lane 7, Gagol from Spain. In lane 8, Novak from Poland. And in lane 9, Keane from Great Britain. The Hungarian already has a silver medal from the World Championships in the C2 200 meters. And the Spanish athlete won a bronze medal in the C4 500 meters at the World Championships. The Ukrainian athlete Wozniuk has a silver medal in the C1 200 from the World Championships. Sadabi wants to watch. They've shown great form already this season. You can see them going into the buckets already, getting ready to be under starters' orders. So 500-meter C1 Junior Women A final. And they're away. Looks like some of the athletes pulled a bit early. Went into the bucket slightly, not enough to cause a false start, but falling slightly behind, but now up to speed. With the lane 5, Romaniuk in the lead at the moment. Sobal next to her is in second, with Wozniuk in third. Going into the first 200 meters of this race. They're your top three at the moment. We still have over halfway left of this race. So Romaniuk is still in the lead, followed by Sobal and Wozniuk. 200 meters into this 500-meter final. We still have a long way to go. You can see different styles of paddling from these three girls. Romaniuk choosing to paddle with slightly higher stroke rate compared to Sobal next to her with longer strokes. So AANA in the lead, followed by AAMB and Ukraine in third. You can now see Sobal in lane 4 taking over the lead from Romaniuk. She's extending her lead going into the last 200 meters of this race. And Wozniuk is still in third behind. They're your top three at the moment. Looks like Sobal is only extending her lead meter by meter going into the final 100 meters of this race. see her long, powerful strokes going into the last few meters of this race. Clear lead from Sobal in lane 4, and Wozniuk has now taken over the second position ahead of Romaniuk. So no doubt about the winner. Sobal is your European champion. Wozniuk in second, and I think Romaniuk holds on for third ahead of Novak from Poland. There's your winner, your European champion in this C1 Junior Women's 500-meter event. You see the replay of the start here. A few athletes getting a bit stuck into the buckets, but all away clearly. The last few meters from your European champion. She crosses the line in first. So we already see the next race on the course lining up. This will be the under-23 women in the C1 500-meter A final. Lane 1, we have Simova from the Czech Republic. Lane 2, Kovaleva from AINA. In lane 3, Smilovenko from Azerbaijan. In lane 4, Weltan from Italy. In lane 5, Győre from Hungary. In lane 6, Nico from France. In lane 7, Bardanuskaya from AIMB. In lane 8, Glizan from Moldova. And in lane 9, Gomez from Spain. Going into the start buckets already. We have the world silver medalist in this event, Chloé Nico from France. She'll be one to watch for sure. And they're off. It looks like lane 6, the French caught the start the best. No surprise about that, being the silver medalist in this event from the World Championships. But lane 8, the Moldovan, is also up with her, as well as the Spanish athlete in lane 9. They're your top 3 at the moment, but lane 3, the athlete from Azerbaijan, is also up there with them, as well as the Hungarian Győre in lane 5. So 4 girls in the lead at the moment, all separated by just about a meter.
In lane 4, Italy. In lane 5,
so France and Hungary lead this race going into the first 200 meters of this 500-meter final.
In lane 9, France. 4 minutes
Nico slightly in the lead ahead of Győre, but that is about to change going into the first 250 meters of the race. The Hungarian takes over the lead, with the French in second and Azerbaijan in third, closely followed by the AAMB athlete. Looks like Győre is extending her lead going into the last 200 meters of this race. She's got about a boat length on Nico from France. This is where the lactic hits. This is where they need to pick up the stroke rate, try and hold on, dig deep, and just stick to their own race plan, stick to what they've practiced in training, what they would have gone through millions of times in their heads, imagining what they would do in this final. And you can see the Hungarian, she's struggling a bit going into the last 100 meters of this race. Looks like she's lost control of her boat, and it looks like lane 7, the athlete from AIMB, is taken over the lead ahead of Nico from France in second, and the athlete from Azerbaijan taking the third spot at the moment going into the last few meters of this race. So we have AIMB athlete as your winner, followed by Azerbaijan, and France, I think, holds on for third.
Ladies, you can be much more confident in
So
coming to the start
Baranowskaia is
area.
your European champion. You can see on the screen,
If you are sure you are
she
standing in the
held back a
right
bit in the
lane, then
first half
please
of the
proceed to the
race.
start area.
Knew it
In
was
your
going to be a
lane.
long race. Picked up the speed when it mattered in the last 200 meters of
We've
this
got
final.
2 minutes to the start, 2 minutes. All competitors, please come to the start area.
This race showing that a lot can change in these 500-meter races. Nothing is decided until the last meters. We had a clear leader going into the first half of the race, but the positions changed completely in the last few meters. And Baranowskaia from AAMB took the win ahead of Azerbaijan and France. So there are your top three: AAMB, Azerbaijan and France, with the Czech athlete narrowly missing out on the medals, just 0.1 second behind the French athlete. So next race on course will be the K1 Junior Women 500-meter A final. In lane 1, we have Lange from Germany. Lane 2, Horvat from Serbia. In lane 3, Oncia from Belgium. In lane 4, Isabella from Italy. In lane 5, Janotova from the Czech Republic. In lane 6, Hofer from Hungary. In lane 7, Kowalska from Poland. Lane 8, Vretskova from Slovakia. In lane 9, Mango from France. We have the 1,000-meter European champion on screen now from yesterday. That's Janotova from the Czech Republic, as well as the bronze medalist Isabella from Italy. We also have the K2 500 world champion from Hungary, Hofer, in lane 6. So there'll be ones to watch for sure in this event. Isabella also won the silver medal in the K1 500 at the World Championships. So middle lanes are the ones to watch, but as we could see in previous finals, it's anyone's game until the last meters of this race. It's a long race. And they are off. All away clearly. Great start from the Czech and the Hungarian athlete in the middle of your lanes, as well as the French in lane 9. Looks like there's about 5, 6 girls pretty much in a line going into the first 100 meters of this race. Pacing of this 500 meter is going to be crucial. That's what's going to decide who takes the win, who takes the top 3. It's a lot longer race than what they would have been used to. Similar conditions to the World Championships from a few weeks ago. A strong headwind now going into the first 200 meters of the race. Isabella slightly in the lead ahead of Janotova from the Czech Republic, closely followed by Horvat and Hofer. Going into the halfway checkpoint, we'll see official standings. Italy in the lead, Serbia in second, Czech Republic in third, and close behind the Hungarian in fourth. Going into the last 200 meters of this race now, they have to dig deep here. This is where the race gets decided. This is where the 500 meters gets decided in the last 200 meters. But it looks like Horvat from Serbia is extending her lead over the Italian Isabella and Janotova in the middle of your lanes. There you see the current leader from Serbia, and Isabella in second at the moment, with Janotova in third. But the Hungarian Hofer does not want to give it easy to them. She also wants a medal in front of the home crowds. But no doubt about the current leader, Horvat from Serbia, going into the last 50 meters of the race now. So Serbia still in the lead, followed by the Italian and the Czech athlete. The Hungarian coming up fast on them, but no doubt about the winner. That's Horvat from Serbia. Isabella takes second and Janotova takes third. There's your European champion, Zsófi Horvat from Serbia. A perfectly planned and timed race in the strong headwind here in Szeged. There's your Czech fans cheering on Barbora Janotova taking the bronze medal in this final. So Isabella and Janotova take the second medal of this weekend here in Szeged. There you see the girls congratulating each other, showing respect. And that's what we like to see, happy for each other. And they'll see each other on the podium shortly. So you have one more final in this morning's first finals. This is going to be another exciting race in lane 1. AIMB athlete Shubushkaya in lane 2. Wiesławska from Poland in lane 3. Fedorova from Estonia in lane 4. La Calamita from Italy in lane 5. Babashinskaya from AINA in lane 6. Foyt from Hungary in lane 7. Brito from Portugal in lane 8. Hanusova from Czech Republic, and in lane 9, Dayachenko from Ukraine. Foyt won the silver medal in this event at the World Championships and got the win in the 1,000 meters. She's also a double Olympic bronze medalist, so she'll be one to watch for sure in this final. Dayachenko is a medalist in the 200 meters, so expect a fast start from her. Whereas La Calamita and Fedorova, the 1,000 meter finalists. Once again, as you saw in previous races, it's anyone's game. Nothing is decided prior to the final, but for sure, Shadow Foyt being one of the favorites going into this final. Going into the buckets now. And they'll be under starters orders. And their away looks like Foyt from Hungary took the best start from this field. But right next to her, Babashinskaya, also an athlete having done a lot of senior races already, out in the lead at the moment, along with the Polish in lane 2. Dayachenko is also up there with them. They're your top 3 at the moment. Babashinskaya taking a lead going into the first 150 meters of this race now. The Polish athlete closely following in second, and Dayachenko in lane 9 in third. The rest of the field is pretty much coming in a line about a boat length and a half down from Babashinskaya. They're only 200 meters into the race now, and we'll see official standings going to the first 250 meters of this race. Babashinskaya in the lead, Ukraine, Dayachenko in second, and Poland, Wiesławska in third. Going into the last 200 meters of the race now, a lot of the positions will be decided here in the last 200 meters of this race. You can see the athletes increasing their stroke rates, increasing the speed to try and catch one of those podium finishes. You can see the Hungarian increasing her speed, catching up to the finalists to get one of those top 3 in front of the home crowd going into the last 100 meters of the race. That's your leader at the moment, Babashinskaya. But watch out for the Hungarian Foyt in the middle, coming up fast and furious on the rest of the field. She'll get the lead. If she carries on, she's got the lead now ahead of the rest of the field, ahead of the Polish, ahead of the Ukrainian. 3 girls pretty much in a line. It's going to come down to the last meters of this race, but it looks like second for Hungary and first for Poland from up here. The AIMB athlete takes third, but we'll have to wait for official confirmation. That was way too close to call from up here. But beautiful race demonstrated by all these girls. Absolutely different tactics demonstrated by every single athlete in this final. A very close finish between all 9 girls here, giving us a very exciting race to watch. We'll see slow motion of the start going into the middle of the race. Babaszynskaya taking the lead early on. Let's see the finish line. I think Poland takes the win with Hungary in second, and maybe AIMB taking the bronze medal. We have to wait for official confirmation on that. And there it is. So Wielczewska from Poland takes the win, really close to 0.04 seconds behind is Voigt from Hungary, and Shuborskaya from AIMB, just 0.1 second behind, takes the bronze. The Italian La Calamita comes in 4th, and Deychenko takes 5th. Babaszynskaya comes in 6th after leading the race for so much of that 500 meter. That was a perfect race by these girls, an amazing one to watch. So congratulations to them all. So that's the A finals done for the first section of this morning's finals. We'll be back in about 45 minutes for the next A final of the K2 Junior Men 500 meters. In the meantime, we've got the medal ceremonies coming up on your screens.
Tisztelt Hölgyeim és Uraim, ünnepélyes eredményhirdetés következik a Kaja 4-es férfiú 23-500 méteres versenyszámban. Ladies and gentlemen, medal ceremony for man under 23 in kayak singles in 500 meters. Medal ceremony for man under 23 in K1 in 500 meters. The medals are presented by Mr. Viktor Tilitz, Federal Europe board member and chair of the jury, accompanied by Mr. Tóth Dávid, head coach of the Hungarian canoe team. In 2026, at the Federal Europe Junior and Under 23 Spring Championships, bronze medalist Lukas Kluge, representing Germany. Silver medalist Dmitry Avdeyev, individual neutral athlete. Gold medalist and European champion, aranyérmes, Európa bajnok, Kolleg Bálint, Magyarország. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Hungary. Hölgyeim és uraim, kérem álljanak fel nemzeti himnuszok tiszteletére. Ladies and gentlemen, medal ceremony for junior men in K1 in 500 meters. Medal ceremony for junior men in kayak singles in 500 meters. The medals are presented by Ms. Karen Anna, Olympic champion kayaker, accompanied by Mr. Sergei Silenkov. In 2026, at the Pedal Europe Junior and Under 23 Spring Championships, bronze medalist Rami Karahan, representing Turkey. Silver medalist Timofey Zarabilov, representing Germany. Gold medalist and European champion Ivan Nekrasov, individual neutral athlete. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the anthem of Pedal Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, the medalists, congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, medal ceremony for junior women in P1 in 500 meters. Medal ceremony for junior women in Canadian canoe swimmers in 500 meters. The medals are presented by Ms. Karas Anna, Olympic champion kayaker, accompanied by Mr. Kashara Maxim. In 2026 at the Paddle Europe Junior and Under 23 Spring Championships, bronze medalist Anastasia Romaniuk, individual neutral athlete. Silver medalist Yelizaveta Vozniuk, representing Ukraine. Gold medalist and European champion Farina Sobal, individual neutral athlete. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the anthem of Paddle Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, the medalists, congratulations. and gentlemen, medal ceremony for women under 23 in 1 in 500 meters. Medal ceremony for women under 23 in Canadian canoe singles in 500 meters. The medals are presented by Mr. Michel Etienne, Federal Europe Sprint Committee Chair, accompanied by Mr. Pachera Maxime. In 2026, at the Federal Europe Junior and Under 23 Spring Championships, bronze medalist Colin Nico representing France. Silver medalist Tatiana Smilovenko representing Azerbaijan. Gold medalist and European champion Angelina Barnaduskaya, individual junior athlete. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the anthem of Federal Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, the medalists, congratulations. and gentlemen, medal ceremony for junior women in 1 in 500 meters. Medal ceremony for junior women in kayak singles in 500 meters. The medals are presented by Ms. Tim Verlinden, Federal Europe Board member, accompanied by Mr. Pavle Jovanov, representing the team of Serbia. In 2026, at the Federal Europe Junior and Under-23 Spring Championships, bronze medalist Barbara Janotova, representing Serbia. Silver medalist Anastasia Isabella, representing Italy. Gold medalist and European champion Zsófi Horváth, Serbia. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Serbia. Ladies and gentlemen, the medalists, congratulations. Hölgyeim és uraim, ünnepélyes eredményhirdetés következik a Faja 4-es női U23 500 méteres versenyszámban. Ladies and gentlemen, medal ceremony for women under 23 in K1 in 500 meters. Medal ceremony for women under 23 in K1 in 500 meters. The medals are presented by Mr. Nénesi Imre, municipal representative of the city of Szeged, accompanied by Mr. Mikhál Gászkiewicz, team leader of Poland. In 2026 at the Pedal Europe Junior and Under 23 Spring Championships, bronze medalist Alizia Shubutskaya, individual neutral athlete. Silver medalist ezüstérmes Fojt Sára, Magyarország, Hungary. Gold medalist and European champion Sofia Wiślawska, representing Poland. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Poland. Ladies and gentlemen, the medalists, congratulations. Tisztelt Hölgyeim és Uraim, 10 óra 35 perckor rajtol majd a következő versenyszám, Faja 2-es férfiúti 500 méteres döntőt láthatunk akkor, 4 A döntő és 2 B döntő még a hivatalos programban itt a negyedik versenynap délelőttjén, majd következnek 11 óra 5 perckor a gyermekfutamok. Tehát 10 óra 35 perckor rajtol a következő versenyszám. Ladies and gentlemen, the next race is the final for junior men in K2 in 500 meters. It starts at 10:35.
And we're back with the next A final on course, starting in just a few minutes' time, the K2 Junior Men 500-meter A final. So in this race, you see the start list up on your screen. In lane 1, we have Ukraine, lane 2, Slovakia, lane 3, France, lane 4, AIMB, lane 5, Hungary, lane 6, Moldova, lane 7, Turkey, lane 8, Portugal, and lane 9, the Czech Republic. So this is a junior men's K2 500-meter A final. We've got the defending world champions in this lineup, the Portuguese K2, as well as the silver medalist from the World Championships. And then we have one of the stars here from this regatta, Karahan from Turkey. He's already got 2 medals from this weekend here. And he's got a few more events to come, so I'm sure this is going to be one exciting final yet again. We still have a headwind out here in Szeged, but doesn't look like it's gotten much stronger from this morning, which is great news for the athletes. It looks like it's still a straight wind, potentially slightly coming across from the left now, but hopefully nothing that's going to make unfair conditions for the athletes out there racing today. Start is coming up in just a minute's time. So in this event, there was no direct qualification. All these boys had to go through semi-finals. The winners of the semi-finals would have gone to lanes 4, 5, and 6. But this is a clean race, clean start for these boys. Nothing has been decided yet. Into the start buckets they go under starters orders, getting ready to start this race. And they are away. A clear start from the boys in this final of the K2 Junior Men 500 meters. Looks like the Slovakians in lane 2 shot out of the buckets to take the lead going into the first 100 meters of this race. But lane 4, the AAMB crew are also up with them, along with the Portuguese in lane 8. The Hungarians in lane 5 also trying to go with them. They're your top 4 at the moment going into the first 200 meters of this final. We'll see official standings when they cross the halfway mark. And they go through the checkpoint of the 250 meters. It looks like the lane 4 AAMB crew have taken the lead slightly from the Slovakians and the Hungarians. That's the official standings at the halfway mark. AAMB, Slovakia and Hungary. Not far behind is the Moldovan K2 going into the last 200 meters of the race now. The AAMB crew are extending their lead to about a boat length over the Hungarians. It looks like the fight is on for the medals. Hungary are in second for now. Slovakia close behind as well as the Moldovans in lane 6. There's your leaders at the moment going into the last 100 meters of the race. Looks like they're holding on to the lead, but the Hungarians are catching. They're in second right now. They're in silver medal position, but it looks like no one can take the win away from the AIMB K2. They're your European champions. Hungary take the silver, and it looks like the Moldovans come across the finish line in third to take the bronze medal. The Slovakians just missed out on the podium this time, having led the first half of the race. There's your winners. There's a European champions. Clearly very happy with that result, as they should be. They'll be able to stand on top of the podium. What a great feeling for those boys now, knowing all their hard work has paid off to take the win in the final today. A tough race out there going into a headwind, but very well paced by the crew to win this European Championships final. There you can see the celebration, throwing his paddles a bit. We'll see the official results in a moment to confirm. Next race on course is the junior men's C2 500 meters. You can see the start list up on your screen. You have Prel and Weber from Germany in lane 1, Dekowski and Agustiniak from Poland in lane 2, Savaleyu and Mauluyi from AMB in lane 3, Ruiz and Perez in lane 4 from Spain, Peter and Barna from Hungary in lane 5, Macedon Barbosa in lane 6 from Portugal, Mesherik Akov and Minev in lane 7 from AANA, Melinchuk and Kisia in lane 8 from Ukraine, and Soloveis and Zavoronkovs from Latvia in lane 9. We have another exciting race ahead of us. For sure, we have the defending world champions in this event from Hungary. We also have the world silver and bronze medalists from Spain and Ukraine in this final, as well as the world bronze medalist from the C4 going in lane 6 next to the home favourites, the Hungarians, in this final. Again, it's anyone's race still. Your middle lanes would have qualified directly from the heats. Whereas lane 1, 8 and 9 would have come from the semi-final into the buckets and the starters orders now. And they're away, a clear start from the field. They all pretty much come out together in a line, with lane 7, the AANA crew slightly ahead, as well as the Hungarians in the middle of the field in lane 5. They've got the lead now. They've got about half a boat length of a lead on the AAMB crew in lane 3. Going into the first 200 meters of that race, Hungary are still in the lead, followed by AAMB and the AANA crew, as well as the Spanish. That's your top 4 at the moment going into the first 200 meters of this final. We'll see the official standings going through the 250 in just a few moments, but it looks like Hungary have been taken over by the AAMB going through the halfway mark. They've got a second lead over the Hungarians, followed by the Spanish in third at the moment. But going into the last 200 meters, a lot of positions can still change. This is where different tactics and the different race plans will come into play. Some of these 500 meters, most of these 500-meter races get decided in the last 200 meters. This is where it starts to really hurt, and this is where the athletes need to really dig deep. Interestingly, the leaders are paddling on the same side in this boat. No disadvantage to them at all. As you can see, it's clear, making the boat run really fast as they're still in the lead going into the last 100 meters of the race now. The Hungarians are still in second, and the fight is on for third between the Spanish and the Portuguese. Sorry, the AANA crew. AMB takes the win, Hungary in second, and Spain takes the bronze medal. There's your winners on the screen. Savaliu and Maliu from the AAMB team. Looks like they gave it their all It was all worth it because they took the win. They're the European champions in this event. Hungary take the silver after having won the gold medal in this race at the World Championships earlier this year. And I think the AANA crew got the bronze in this final from lane 7. There you see paddling together. Great teamwork from these boys. Clear win from them. We'll see the official results, but no doubt about the top two. We'll wait for confirmation on who took third in this final. There's a... Oh, Spain got in for third in the end. So A and B, Hungary and Spain take the medals from this final, with the ANA crew just missing out by 0.1 second behind the Spanish. We move on now to the next final of the day, which is the under-23 C2 final. Lane 1 from Lithuania, Gauris and Gauris. In lane 2 from Spain, Fernandez and Torrado. In lane 3 from Poland, Siardazan and Michalik. In lane 4 from the AMB, Vereshchaka and Vereshchaka. In lane 5 from Hungary, Mészáros and Mitropoulos. In lane 6 from AANA, Sidorov and Bots. In lane 7 from Romania, Raiku and Domentan. Lane 8 from the Czech Republic, Prikopa and Hirsch. And in lane 9 from Italy, Sella and Caprizosco. We've got the defending world champions from Hungary in this event. I'm sure there'll be ones to watch for one of the top positions from this final. We also have the bronze medalists from this event from the World Championships. Here from Spain, Fernandez and Torrado took the bronze medal in Canada a few weeks ago. We also have the C1000 meter world champion from Poland in one of the C2s here. So a very exciting race to come. Another battle after racing together in Canada between the Spanish and the Hungarians. Hungarians have a home course advantage. But as we've seen, this is anyone's race going into this headwind here in Szeged. Into the buckets they go now under starters orders. They try to go, but the starter is holding them back a bit longer. They need to settle back into the buckets before they'll be allowed to go. And they're away. Perfect start, clearly away. Lane 6, the ANA crew got out the quickest of the buckets, along with the Spanish and the Hungarians going into the first 100 meters of this final. They are top 3 at the moment, about half a boat length ahead of the rest of the field, passing the first 100 meters in this race. Sidorov and Bots in the lead, just slightly ahead of the Spanish and the Hungarians at the moment. Approaching the first 200 meters of the race now. Looks like the AANA crew are extending their lead slightly, but we still have over halfway left in this final, and a lot can change still. See the official standings going through the halfway. ANA, Spain, AMB and Hungary are your top 4, closely followed by the Lithuanians in 5th. We're going into the last 200 meters of the races, where we'll see the speed and the stroke rate being picked up by these athletes. Different tactics will come into play. They need to dig deep here. The lactic's going to hit. It's going to come for them, but this is what they would have practiced in training so much leading up to this race. They would have known what this feels like going into the last 100 meters of the race now. Still have lane 6 in the lead from the AINA team. Lane 4 from AINB in second. And it looks like the Polish, or the Spanish are in third. ANA takes the win, ANB in second. Spain takes the bronze medal, and Hungary come in fourth. That was a close finish by the top 3 in this event. Again, showing different race plans going into that final. We've had some fast starters taking the lead right from the start, and then some other crews coming up in the end, including the winners, the European champions, the ones you can see on your screen now. Sidorov and Bots are your European champions. They had the best start from the field as well, leading right through to the halfway and then holding on to that lead at the end, just ahead of the A and B boat. So the Spanish crew take another bronze medal after having won that at the World Championships as well. So we have another A final coming up shortly. This is the K2 under 23 men 500 meter A final. Lane 1, we have Yermolenko and Bulia from AIMB. In lane 2, Menther Appelhans from Germany. Lane 3, Midlock and Kubalski from Poland. In lane 4, Humhal and Plitsk from Czech Republic. In lane 5, Shamu and Hidvegi from Hungary. In lane 6, Kukutzka and Doktorik from Slovakia. In lane 7, Usta and Sulak from Turkey. In lane 8, Rozov and Mamstev from ANA, and in lane 9, Kaurats and Mikuda from Latvia. This race we have the defending world champions from Hungary, Shamu and Hidvegi. They'll be ones to watch for sure for one of the top spots in this final. The Polish and the Slovakian crew were finalists in the 1,000 meter K2 under 23 men event in Canada at the World Championships, along with the Turkish crew. But the Hungarians, on paper, are the favorites to take the win here. But as we saw in the previous final as well, there's no guarantee in any of the races here. We saw the defending world champions take fourth in the previous final, so this will be another exciting race, I'm sure, in the under 23 man K2 500 meter final. And they're off. A clean start. Oh no, I spoke too soon and it looks like it was a false start. Slovakians realized a bit later, as well as some of those lane 2 and 3 of the Germans and the Polish. So we'll do another start for this final. We'll see who did the false start. It looks like it was Slovakia from up here, but we'll see who gets a warning officially. See the athletes circling back round, resetting their minds. They have a few minutes now, a few minutes extra to start this race and go back into the buckets. Lane 6, the Slovakians got the official warning for the false start. If they do another false start, that means disqualification from the race. So they have to be slightly more careful going into the next race. Now that it's a headwind, they can afford to hold back just a tiny bit in the start. Headwind makes the race a bit longer, so it means that they'll have a bit more time to catch up if they do fall a bit behind from being careful in the buckets. They obviously they can't afford to be too careful and hold back too much. But that's better than risking a disqualification from the final of this race. It's very important these athletes now take some deep breaths, talk through with their partner of what they're going to focus on, some last few little cues between them, remind each other what they're going to concentrate on down the course, what their race plan is, and most importantly, just stay calm going into the second start of this final. You can see the athletes now coming up to the start buckets once again. Hopefully no one's been too affected by that false start, especially the ones who realized a bit later than the others. But luckily no one went too far past the 50-meter mark. Into the buckets they go. Once they're all in, they'll be under starters' orders for take 2 of the start of this final of the under-23 men K2 500 meters. Turkish athletes are going in last into the bucket. And now they're all in, waiting for the start. And it looks like they are aware. Clearly this time no one did a false start. They pretty much all came out in a line. Lane 8, the AANA crew got the best of the start from the field. They already have half a boat length lead on the rest of the K2s here, but you can see lane 2, the Germans also trying to go with them, along with the Hungarians in lane 5. Going into the first 200 meters of this race now. And we still have AANA in the lead, slightly ahead of Hungary and Germany, along with Latvia down in lane 9. We'll see official standings when we cross the checkpoint at the 250-meter mark. Looks like 4 boats pretty much in a line, but Hungary are in the lead ahead of AANB, Germany, and an AANA crew closely followed by the Latvians. We'll go into the last 200 meters of the race. This is the crucial part of 500-meter racing. We can see the AANB crew in lane 1 pulling away and doing a really strong last 200 meters of this race, but the Hungarians are trying to go with them along with the Germans. They are top 3 at the moment. Going into the last 100 meters of this race, the AANA crew in lane 1 are still in the lead, followed by the Hungarians and the Germans. Looks like the AANB crew are just extending their lead to almost 2 boat lengths ahead of the rest of the field, but Hungary hold on for second. So AANB takes the win. They're your European champions. Hungary takes second, and Germany take third. So they're your medalists. They're your top 3 from this final. Here's your European champions, Yarmolenko and Bulia from the AANB team. High five for that win. A very well-deserved high five to celebrate that great teamwork to take that win in this K2 final. The world champions from this year take the silver, and the Germans will take the bronze medal. Great race by these boys. The A and B crew in lane 1 had a very strong second half of the race. They timed it to perfection to fit the conditions out there today in this headwind. But Hungary did well as well to hold on to that second position, as well as the Germans, who were in third from the first 300 meters of this race. There you can see the clear win from lane 1. A little look to the right, and still lunging to the finish line. Big high five and smiles all around from them. There's the official results now. A 3-second lead for the AMB ahead of the Hungarian crew. And with the Germans get the bronze medal. You can see the next race. This will be the B final of the K2 Junior Men 500-meter event. We have Ireland, ANA, Germany, Bulgaria, Spain, Poland, Norway, Great Britain, and Sweden lining up. And they are off. Clean start from these boys. Looks like lane 7 and lane 9 caught the start the best. That's the Norwegian and the Swedish crew, along with the Germans in lane 3. So lane 3, the German crew of Arnoldo and Zerabilo are in the lead at the moment, just ahead of the ANA crew in lane 2. Going into the first 200 meters of this race now, we still have lane 2 in the lead. But we'll see the official standings crossing this checkpoint in a few moments' time. So ANA lead ahead of Germany, Bulgaria, and Spain. Not far behind, the Swedish crew is in 5th at the moment. Going into the last 200 meters of the race, ANA crew in lane 2, extending their lead by about a boat length ahead of the rest of the field. With Germany holding on for second, and the Spanish crew coming through strong in this last 200 meters of this final. So ANA crew in lane 2 in the lead. Going into the last 100 meters of this race now. They're picking up the stroke rate, picking up the speed, being chased down by the Germans next to them in lane 3, as well as the Spanish from lane 5. But it looks like ANA crew hold on for the win. Germany takes second and Spain get third in this B final of the junior men's K2 event. So there's the winners of the B final. We have one more B final for this morning's session. The under 23 men's K2 500 meter B final. You can see the crews lining up now for this B final of the under 23 men's K2 500 meter event. You see the athletes lining up. In lane 1 we have Bulgaria, lane 2 Great Britain, lane 3 Serbia, lane 4 Israel, lane 5 Ukraine, lane 6 Portugal, lane 7 Italy, lane 8 Denmark, and lane 9 Sweden. And the starters' orders now. And they're off. A clean start by the boys in this final. They all came out together in a line, pretty much. Italy and the Serbians slightly ahead of the rest of the field now. Serbia taking the lead now by almost a boat length ahead of the British, as well as the crew from Israel and Italy. Going into the first 200 meters of the race now, Serbia are just extending their lead. Let's see where they are, going through the 250 mark. So Serbia, Israel, Italy are your top three, and Bulgaria and Sweden close behind as your top five, going through the halfway point, going into the last 200 meters of the race now. Serbians are still in the lead, but being chased down by the two boats beside them from Great Britain and Israel, as well as the Italians and the Swedish in lane 7 and 9. Serbia still hold on to the lead by about half a boat length, but it looks like the British crew are also chasing them down along with the Italians to challenge for that win in this B final of the K2 under 23 man 500 meters. Going into the last 50 meters of the race, it looks like the British crew might be taking the lead away from the Serbians, along with the Italians. It will come down right to the line. Looks like Italy takes the win ahead of Great Britain and Ukraine, with Israel in fourth and Serbia get fifth in the end. There's your winners of this B final. A really fast start from them, held back a bit in the middle, and then came through strong in the end. Looks like they timed it to perfection in this headwind. You can see the start here. They all came out pretty much together. And then through the halfway, Serbia were the clear leaders. And then looks like, phew, that was really close between Italy and Great Britain for the win. We'll have to wait for official confirmation on the results for that. So you see already the kids race lining up. We have a few of these kids races, as they always do in Szeged at international events and mini K4s. So we'll be back with the racing here for the European Championships at 12:55 with the B final of the C1 under 23 men's 500 meter event. We'll have a few more B finals, and then we'll move on to the A finals of the K2s, C2s, and some C1 events as well in the 500, followed by the 200 meter A finals. And then later this afternoon, we'll go back to the K4s and the C4s. So hope you've enjoyed this morning's session. And please enjoy watching the future stars race down one of the most iconic courses of the world in Szeged. I'll see you back here in about an hour and a half.
után következnek a lányok, kajak 4-es, 12 női 500 méteres döntő, regionális akadémiák versenyeznek egymás ellen, ahogy említettem, az egyes pályán Hegyi Adőr, Márki Dorottya, Tóth Eliza és Tőlősi Hanna, a kettesen Monoskori Eszter, Janusz Mili, Bödör Boglárka és Virág Ali, a hármason Martoncsik Míra, Albert Amira, Frankovics Flóra és Frankovics Édua, a négyesen Angus Dorka, Fogas Lídia, Terz Emília és Szilágyi Leona, az ötös pályán Kéri Dorina Futó, Rózsa Gercsó, Alina és Vindó Lukja, a hármason Mórán Tófia, Közel, Kíra Dávid, Barbara és Tóth Fanni, a hetesen Kelsen Hanga, Ilmán Jászló, Sarkai Tófia és Sári Arina, a nyolcason Szabó Lili, Kis Ánta, Balti Éva és Nagy Boglárka, a kilencesen Józsa Dorina, Bajorasi Zsófia, Vörös Dominika és Vörös Kiáta. Az ötös pályán Kéri Szita Gercsó Mindő, egység az élen, Mikó József mellettük Mátusra, Horváth Kozári Dávid és Tóth, Szánta hármason Martoncsik Albert, Tarkovics és Frankovics egyelőre a harmadik helyen. Barátom Milánán tudta az előnyét az ötösön Kéri Szita Gercsó és Mindő, amikor féltánk a kérnek, akkor például a harmadik belőlőnél van, a második helyen maradó Horváth Kozári Dávid Tóth egység hajójánától, Alimán Második tudhat a negyedik belőlőn, felül jönnek fel a hármason Martoncsik Albert, Frankovics és Frankovics, nagyon küzdenek a lányok a második helyét. Édesek az első pályának a tetővelőnek, de jól haladnak is ez a línja. És ötösen magabiztosan vezet Kéri Dorina Futó, Rózsa Gercsó Eliza és Vindó Lukja, óriási csata az ezüst éremre és nagy a közösségben a hármason a Martoncsik Albert, Frankovics egység hajója. Talán hetedik szempontból előződik a Horváth Kozári Dávid Tóth, azt viszont az ötös pályán Kéri Dorina Futó, Rózsa Gercsó Eliza és Vindó Lukja magabiztosan vezet. Úgyhogy a lányok behétében elsőkapcsolatból már elsőre megy belőle a hetesen Horváth Zsófia, Kozári Kíra, Dávid Barbara és Tóth Fanni, ők lesznek a második helyen, a harmadikon pedig Martoncsik Míra, Albert Alina, Frankovics Flóra és Frankovics Édua. Gratulálunk minden egyes résztvevőjének természetesen, akinek a regionális futamnak szép volt menni, igyekszik gyerekek. Következnek a kenusok, mix, tehát fiúk és lányok vegyesen, kenu 4-es U12 mix, 500 méteres döntő, ez a harmadik és ebben utolsó beférfutamunk. Az egyes pályán Szambai Dáviddal, Mánchár Benedekkel, Nagy Dáviddal és Tali Lászlóval, a kettesen Fekete Anikó, Hegedűs Rogó, Takács Árek és Nyári Dániel, a hármason Faraguzita, Apócsi Roland, Dankó Dorina és Szigeti Kárlátor, a négyesen Soltész Antal, Luszkó Márton, Soponyai Benedek és Federics Máté, az ötösen Fagyas Gréta, Faragó, Hegyesi Péter és Haris Zalár, a hatoson Baracskai Barna, Kárai Boton, Lengyel Viktória és Kucsak Lilianna, a hetesen Krajda Nándor, Néli Norina, Bence Csanda és Bakcsi Áron, a nyolcason Szolnoki Tamás, Kurunci Dominik, György Soma és Krizsonyi Áron, és a 9-esen Vas Bográk, a Gyuri Aurélio, illetve Kecskeméti Ákos és Sajnos Eliza. Nagyon jól rajtoltak az ötösön, Fagyas Faragó, Hegyesi és Haris. Sétálnak az élen, az első közel 100 méter megtétele után. Mögöttük nagyon-nagyon szoros csatában. A hármason Faragi, Agolcsi Zankó és Kármeta, illetve négyesen Soltész, Úszkó, Sopolnyi és Federics. Ott van a 6-oson Baracskai, Károly, Lengyel és Kucsak, és a 7-esen Rajzon Jóli, Bence és Bakcsi is. Egyelőre teljesen nyitott az érmek sorsa. Egyedül, ahogy említettem, az 5-ösön Fagyas Faragó, Hegyesi Haris egység emelkedik ki a mezőnyből, nekik majdnem egy hajó az előnyük. Faragi Agós Dankó Kármeta Mingessel szemben. Hihetetlenül izgalmas lesz ez a második 250 méter, majd amikor eldől, hogy kik állhatnak fel a dobogóra. Talán még tovább növelte az előnyét. Fagyas Faragó, Hegyesi és Haris. Aztán a második Faragi, Agócsi, Dankó és Kármeta. És úgy tűnik, hogy a harmadik helyre Soltész, Úszkó, Soponyai és Federics pályáznak a leginkább, de nagyon jól jönnek a 6-oson Baracskai, Károly, Lengyel és Kucsak. Márkod, mint egy gólyasor előnyel vezet Fagyas Faragó, Hegyesi és Haris. Azt hiszem, nem vagyok túl bátor, ha azt mondom, hogy ők fogják megnyerni ezt a keményes U12 mix 500 méteres futamot, és még mindig nyitott az, hogy kiállhat majd a dobogó második és harmadik fokára, mert hogy hihetetlenül szoros befutók várnak a 3-as, 4-es és 6-os pálya között fog eldőlni. Ötösdíjt a Faragó, Hegyesi Haris. Még néhány húzás és elsőként haladnak át a körvonalon. Gratulálunk, és elképesztő csapar az ezüst és a bronzéremért, és úgy tűnik, hogy a 6-os pályán Baracskai, Károly, Lengyel és Kucsák az ezüstérmesek, a bronzérmesek pedig Soltész, Úszkó, Soponyai és Federics. Gratulálunk természetesen az MCV U12 Mix 500 méteres döntő minden résztvevőjének. És nem sokára találkozunk az eredményhirdetésen. Tisztelt Hölgyeim és Uraim, ünnepélyes eredményhirdetés következik a kajak 2-es férfi ifjúsági 500 méteres versenyszámban. Ladies and gentlemen, medal ceremony for junior men in K2 in 500 meters. Medal ceremony for junior men in kayak pairs in 500 meters. The medals are presented by Mr. Ménesi Imre, municipal representative of the city of Szeged, accompanied by Mr. Esere Maxim. In 2026 Federal Europe Junior and Under 23 Spring Championships bronze medalists Lev Lunin, Maxim Robut, representing Moldova. Silver medalists, ezüstérmesek, Pálinkás Ármin, Mayer Gunnar, Magyarország, Hungary. Gold medalists and European champions Akcion Vajcesin, Georgi Varázsun, individual neutral athletes. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the anthem of Federal Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, the medals. Congratulations. and gentlemen, medal ceremony for junior men in C2 in 500 meters. Hölgyeim és uraim, a férfi ifi kenu 2-es 500 méteres versenyszám eredményhirdetése következik. Medal ceremony for junior men in Canadian canoe doubles in 500 meters. The medals are presented by Mr. Weiss Robert, Paracanoe Technical Committee Chair of Federal Europe, accompanied by Mr. Asher Maxim. In 2026 at the Federal Europe Junior and Under 23 Spring Championships, bronze medalists Alberto Ruiz, Alejandro Perez, representing Spain. Silver medalists, ezüstérmesek, Péter Zsolt Zsombor, Barna Dávid Zsombor, Magyarország, Hungary. Gold medalists and European champions Sebastian Savelyev, Alexei Manui, individual neutral athletes. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the anthem of Federal Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, the medalists, congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, medal ceremony for men under 23 in C2s in 500 meters. Medal ceremony for men under 23 and Canadian canoe doubles in 500 meters. The medals are presented by Mr. Ménesi Imre, municipal representative of the city of Szeged, accompanied by Mr. Sergei Silenko. In 2026 at Pedal Europe Junior and Under 23 Spring Championships, bronze medalists Raúl Fernández, Pedro Torrado, representing Spain. Silver medalists Ilya Vereshchaka, Danila Vereshchaka, individual neutral athletes. Gold medalists and European champions Savary Sidorov, Alexander Box, individual neutral athletes. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the anthem of Pedal Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, the medalists, congratulations. Tisztelt Hölgyeim és Uraim, ünnepélyes eredményhirdetés következik a Kaja 2-es férfi U23 500 méteres versenyszámban. Ladies and gentlemen, medal ceremony for men under 23 in K2 in 500 meters. Medal ceremony for men under 23 in kayak pairs in 500 meters. The medals are presented by Ms. Hapina Lura, Olympic champion kayaker, accompanied by Mr. Kashara Maxim. In 2026 at the Federal Europe Junior and under 23 Spring Championships, bronze medalist Tim Mietner, David Appelhans, representing Germany. Silver medalists, ezüstérmesek, Samu Péter, Hidvégi Zalán Imre, Magyarország. Gold medalists and European champions, Danis Yermolenko, Ivan Gulia, individual neutral athletes. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the anthem of Federal Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, the medalists, congratulations. Hölgyeim és uraim, 3 eredményhirdetésünk van még vissza a délelőtti programból, a betétfutamok, a minikajak 4-es U12-es lány, a minikajak 4-es U12-es fiú és a minikenu 4-es U12-es mix futamok eredményhirdetése. Kérem, hogy maradjanak velünk és tapsoljanak a gyerekeknek is. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 more medal ceremonies for the kids races, for the girls under 12 in MK4, for the men under 12 in MK4, and for the mixed crews in MC4. Please stay with us and cheer for the children. Ünnepélyes eredményhirdetés következik a minikajak 4-es fiúgyermek U12-es 500 méteres versenyszámban. Az érmeket Sík Márton fogja átadni, a Magyar Kajakkenu Szövetség Versenysport Bizottságának elnöke, kíséri Kódi Beáta és Varga Lajos. Varga Lajostól kapják meg a gyermekek a virágot, és Kódi Beától fogják megkapni az ajándékokat. Az U12-es regionális akadémiai betét futamok ugyanis a Kódi támogatásával valósulhattak meg. MK4-es fiú U12-es 500 méteren harmadik helyezettek lettek Lokár Levente, Takács Levente, Imre Máté és Kovács Nívó. A harmadik helyezettek Brácsa baseball sapkát kapnak ajándékba. Második helyezettek Görbe Márk, Győri Barnabás, Sósrai Konor és Tóth Richárd. helyezettek ajándéka egy brácsos pénzzel. A versenyszám győztesei Török András, Tóth Róbert, Csajádi Dániel és Ágyás Vince. Az első helyezettek ajándéka egy brácsalapát, illetve a teljes egység kap egy Hódi MK1-es. Gratulálunk! Hölgyeim és uraim, ünnepélyes eredményhirdetés következik a minikajak 4-es U12-es lány 500 méteres versenyszámban. Az érdekel ezúttal is Sűk Márton, a Magyar Kajakenő Szövetség Versenysport Bizottságának elnöke adja majd át, kíséri Hódi Beáta és Varga Lajos. Az U12-es regionális akadémiai betétfut a Manamia Hódi támogatásával valósult meg. Minikajak 4-es U12 lány 500 méteren harmadik helyezettek lettek, Martancsik Mira, Albert Amira, Frankovics Flóra, Frankovics Claudia. A harmadik helyezettek jutalma ismét egy Bráncsa baseball sapka. Második helyezettek Horváth Zsófia, Kozári Kíra, Dávid Barbara és Tóth Fanni. A második helyezettek ajándéka egy Bráncsa spéclet. A versenyszám győztesei Kiri Dolina, Szitó Rózsa, Gercső Alina, Ingöl Luca. Az első helyezettek jutalma egy-egy Bráncsa-lapát, illetve a teljes egység nyer egy Gódi MK1-es. Gratulálunk! teljes eredményhirdetés következik az MC4-es U12-es Mix 500 méteres versenyszámban. Az érmeket Sék Mártonov, a Magyar Kajakkener Szövetség Versenysport Bizottságának elnöke adja át, kíséri Kódi Beáta és Varga Lajos képviseletében. Az U12-es regionális akadémiai betétfutamban, amely a MODI támogatásával valósult meg, MC4-es U12 Mix 500 méteren harmadik helyezettek lettek, Soltész Antal, Juszkó Márton, Soponyai Benedek, Federics Máté. A harmadik helyzettek ajándéka egy Brancsadóból sapka. Második helyezettek Baracskai Panna, Károly Botond, Lengyel Viktória és Kocsák Júlia. A második helyezettek ajándéka egy csak érdemlő. A versenyszám győztesei Fagyas Grita, Faragó Tóth Hedvig, Hegyesi Péter és Haris Zalán. Az első helyezettek ajándéka egy rácsalapát, illetve a teljes egység nyert egy PC-t. Gratulálok! Hölgyeim és uraim, ezzel véget ért a délelőtti program. Délután 12 óra 55 perckor folytatjuk a B és A döntők sorát, elsőként majd a Kino 1-es térfőjű 23 méteres B döntő következik. Ladies and gentlemen, this ends the morning program. The afternoon session starts at 12:55. We will see B and A finals. Our first race is the B final for men under 23 in C1 in 500 meters. So see you at 12:55.